Most people think sharing their goals motivates them. They're wrong. Every time you open your mouth about what you're going to do, you are bleeding out the very power that was supposed to get you there. And by the end of this video, you will never look at goal sharing the same way again. What I am about to break down for you comes from one of the most ruthless, most misunderstood thinkers who ever lived, Niccolo Machiavelli, a man who studied power not as a fantasy, but as a science. A man who wrote in secret, plotted in silence, and watched king after king fall, not because they were weak, but because they talked too much. So let's get into it. Part 1. The psychological trap nobody warns you about. Here is the first thing you need to understand. The human brain cannot tell the difference between doing something and talking about doing something. Read that again. When you tell your friend, "I'm going to start a business," your brain registers social acknowledgement. It gets a hit of dopamine. It feels like progress, but nothing happened. You didn't build anything. You didn't sacrifice anything. You just spoke words into the air, and your brain rewarded you anyway. This is what psychologists call social reality. The moment other people know your goal, your identity starts to shift in your mind. You begin to feel like you are already the person who does the thing, before you've actually done the thing. And the moment that happens, the urgency dies. The hunger drops. The fire that was supposed to push you through the hard nights goes cold. You told people. They acknowledge you. The brain says, "Mission accomplished." And it wasn't. This isn't philosophy. This is neuroscience. Peter Goldwitzer at New York University ran studies on this exact phenomenon. He found that people who announced their goals were significantly less likely to achieve them than people who kept quiet and simply worked. The talkers felt satisfied. The silent ones stayed hungry. Machiavelli understood this centuries before the science confirmed it. He wrote that a man who shows all his cards loses before the game begins. Not because people will steal his idea, but because the showing itself costs him something he cannot get back: his drive. Part 2. The Machiavellian Method Explained. Now let me be clear about what the Machiavellian method actually is, because most people misunderstand Machiavelli completely. They think he was saying be evil. He wasn't. He was saying be realistic. He was saying study how power actually works. Not how you wish it worked, not how your teachers told you it worked, but how it actually functions in the real world among real people with real agendas. And one of his core observations was this: the world does not reward intent. It rewards results. Nobody cares what you were going to do. Nobody builds statues for people who had great plans. The world only responds to what is already done. So the Machiavellian approach to goals has 4 pillars. Pillar 1, concealment. You protect your plans the way a soldier protects his position, not out of paranoia, out of strategy. The moment your plan is public, it is no longer fully yours. Other people's opinions, doubts, discouragement, and even well-meaning advice begin to reshape it. They contaminate it. You stop building your vision and start defending it to people who don't even have a stake in it. Pillar 2, execution over announcement. In Machiavelli's world, a prince who declared war before his army was ready didn't just lose the battle, he lost the war before it started. You announce after you've secured the territory, not before. The same applies to your life. You announce the promotion after you get it. You announce the business after you've launched it. You announce the transformation after people can already see it. Results speak. Plans beg. Pillar 3, strategic silence as a weapon. Silence is not weakness. Silence is positioning. When you don't tell people what you're working on, you create mystery. And mystery commands respect in a way that constant updates never will. Think about every person you admire who seemed to just appear. Fully formed, fully built, already operating at a level you weren't expecting. They didn't disappear. They just stopped narrating. They went quiet and went to work. Pillar 4. Let the outcome do the talking. The most powerful statement you will ever make is the life you build in silence. When people see what you've become, what you've built, what you've achieved, without ever having been warned it was coming, that is when you hold the ultimate leverage. They cannot dismiss what is already real. Part 3. Why people keep talking anyway. Now let's be honest about why people keep announcing their goals even when it doesn't serve them, because understanding the trap is how you escape it. Reason 1. Validation addiction. Most people are starved for acknowledgement. They live in a world where they feel invisible, overlooked, and underestimated. Announcing a big goal is a shortcut to feeling seen. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm writing a book. I'm launching a company. And suddenly people are clapping, saying congratulations, saying that's amazing. And for a moment, you feel real. You feel like you matter. But here's the brutal truth. You traded your future result for a present feeling. You cashed in the reward before you did the work. And now the work feels like optional extra effort instead of the price of admission. Reason 2, fear disguised as excitement. Sometimes people talk about their goals not because they're excited, but because they're terrified. If they tell everyone, then they've created accountability. At least that's the story they tell themselves. But what actually happens is the opposite. The more people you tell, the more exits you create for yourself. Because if you fail quietly, no one has to know. But if you've announced it to 50 people, failure becomes a public performance. And so what do most people do? They quietly drop the goal and move on, with just enough plausible deniability to preserve their ego. Real accountability doesn't come from public announcements. It comes from private standards that you refuse to negotiate with. Reason 3, talking feels like working. This is the most dangerous one because it's the hardest to catch in yourself. Planning the business for months without registering the LLC, researching the diet without changing a single meal, journaling about the book without writing a single page, talking about the goal to anyone who will listen without moving an inch toward it. It all feels productive. It feels like momentum, but it's motion without movement. It's noise without signal. Machiavelli would call this the illusion of action, one of the most comfortable traps a man can fall into, because it allows him to stay exactly where he is while believing he is on his way somewhere. Part 4. The people around you are not neutral. Here is something Machiavelli was absolutely ruthless about, and it applies directly to your goals. The people in your life are not neutral audiences for your plans. They are participants with their own fears, their own ceilings, their own definitions of what's possible, and whether they mean to or not, they will filter your goals through the lens of their own limitations. You tell your family member you're going to build a 7-figure business, and they love you, they genuinely love you, but they grew up watching struggle, and they've never seen it done. So they say, just be careful, or don't quit your day job, or what if it doesn't work out? And now you're defending your dream to someone whose love for you comes packaged with doubt. You tell your friend you're going to get in the best shape of your life, and they say, that's cool, but there's something in their eyes because if you change, something between you shifts, and not everyone is comfortable with that. You tell your coworker about your side project, and now they're watching, waiting, and suddenly the project that was pure and private, and yours has an audience. And audiences make people perform instead of build. This is not cynicism. This is pattern recognition. Machiavelli studied human nature not to despise people, but to understand them clearly enough to move through the world without being destroyed by other people's unconscious agendas. Protect your goals from premature exposure, not because the people around you are enemies, but because not every seed survives being handled before it's had time to root. Part 5. The silence practice. So how do you actually apply this? Let me give you the concrete practice. Step 1. Classify your goals before you speak. Before you open your mouth about anything you want to build, ask yourself one question. Is this done or is this being done? If it is done, share it, celebrate it, talk about it all you want. If it is being done, protect it, keep it close. Give it time to become real before you expose it to the world. Step 2. Replace announcement with action. Every time you feel the urge to tell someone about your plan, do something for the plan instead. Feel like texting your friend about the business idea? Spend that 10 minutes doing one concrete thing for the business. Feel like posting about your fitness goals? Use that energy for one workout. Over time, this rewires your brain to seek the dopamine of action rather than the dopamine of announcement. And action dopamine compounds, it builds something. Announcement dopamine evaporates and leaves nothing behind. Step 3. Build a silent scoreboard. Track your progress privately. Keep a journal, a notes app, a spreadsheet, something only you see. Every day that you execute without announcing is a point on the board. Watch the scoreboard grow. Let it become its own motivation. This is the internal validation that replaces the external validation you've been chasing. And unlike external validation, it never lies to you. It doesn't clap for effort, it only counts results. Step 4, choose your one person wisely. This is important. I'm not telling you to be completely isolated. Machiavelli himself had a small circle of trusted advisors, people who gave him honest counsel without flattery or sabotage. You are allowed one person, maybe two, someone who has either achieved what you're trying to achieve or someone whose integrity is so airtight you know they will challenge you rather than just celebrate you. That is your circle. Everything outside of it is an audience, and you are not performing. You are building. Step 5. Let the reveal be the result. Plan your announcement moment not as a step in the process, but as a celebration of the outcome. Don't say, "I'm going to run a marathon." Show up at the finish line. Don't say, "I'm building something big." Let people find out when it's already built. This is not about being secretive as a personality trait. It's about timing. The most powerful timing is after. The reveal lands hardest when what you're revealing is already real, already proven, already undeniable. Part 6. What happens when you go silent? I want to paint a picture for you of what life looks like on the other side of this practice. You stop seeking permission. When your goals are private, you stop needing people to agree with them. You're not building a case. You're not waiting for a sign. You're just working. And there is a profound freedom in that. You stop being derailed by doubt. When someone says that's unrealistic, it used to land because some part of you needed their belief to sustain your own. But when you've already been working in silence for 60 days, their doubt bounces off. You have evidence. You don't need faith from anyone else because you've already seen what you're capable of. You become harder to read. In any environment, social, professional, competitive, the person who cannot be predicted holds the advantage. When people don't know what you're building, they cannot position themselves against it. When you finally move, you move from a position of strength into a vacuum of opposition. The element of surprise is not just a military tactic, it is a life strategy. Your identity becomes anchored in action, not image. This might be the most transformative shift of all. When you stop talking about who you're becoming and just become it, your self-concept changes at a fundamental level. You stop being someone with ambitions and start being someone with a track record. And a track record is something no one can argue with or take from you. Part 7. The Machiavellian truth about success. Here is the hardest truth in this entire video, and I want you to sit with it. Most people are not failing because they lack talent. They are not failing because they lack opportunity. They are failing because they are addicted to the performance of ambition rather than the practice of it. They want to be seen as someone who is going somewhere more than they want to actually get there. That is a brutal thing to say. But Machiavelli was not in the business of comfort. He was in the business of clarity. And clarity is what separates the people who actually accumulate power, build real things, and change their circumstances, from the people who spend their entire lives discussing the version of themselves they were always about to become. The world is full of announced intentions. It is almost empty of finished results, which means if you simply close your mouth, lower your head, and do the work, you are already rare. You are already operating at a level most people never reach, not because they couldn't, but because they couldn't stop talking long enough to try. So here is your takeaway from everything we covered today. Your goal is not a social object. It is not a status update. It is not a conversation starter. It is a target. And targets require focus, not fanfare. Machiavelli built his entire philosophy on one observation. Outcomes are the only currency that matters. Not intentions, not announcements, not effort. Outcomes, real, visible, undeniable outcomes. So go be quiet. Go be disciplined. Go build the thing you've been talking about building. And when it's done, when it's real, when it's standing, when it can speak for itself, then you can open your mouth, because at that point, you won't need to. The results will already be louder than anything you could have said. If this video hit different, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Not to show off, just to pass on something real. Subscribe if you want more content built on timeless principles applied to modern life. And until next time, stay silent, stay building.